After looking at all the angry comments on YouTube from both atheists and the creationists alike, I have concluded to make this video. I myself am a creationist, because I believe that God created and designed the universe and all the life in it. I believe there are solid and water-bearing arguments for the existence of God in history, archaeology, astronomy, biology, biochemistry and geology. But instead of going through any of that, I would go to the Bible and see what Jesus has to say about this. In Matthew 5:8 we read,
"Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God."
It's quite clear that Jesus is not talking about humans' physical health. In the Bible, the heart is a symbol of humans' mind, soul and spirit. In other words, one's entire emotional nature and understanding. So Jesus tells you here that if you wash your mind, soul and spirit, wash your heart clean, you will see God. But what does this mean in real life? How do you wash your mind, spirit and soul? According to the Bible lies the world in wickedness.
And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
But what does it mean that the whole world lies in wickedness? Can it mean something more than the fact that people do physical evil towards each other? The devil is, according to the Bible, a wicked creature. How is he described?
Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
In other words, when John said the whole world lies in wickedness, could it mean the whole world is full of lies? If this is the case, and it also counts for today, which I think it does, it implicates that we have grown up into a world full of lies, and that our souls, our hearts, is indoctrinated with misconceptions and vain ideas of reality. So how do we then wash our hearts, wash our minds? If we lay down all our indoctrinated conceptions about how the world works, all these things we have heard from others, which we blindly follow because we have bounded emotions to them, wouldn't that be a way of purifying our hearts? Jesus asks us to lay all our vain preconceptions down, because then we will see God. He's not talking about God literally showing himself before your eyes, but you will understand that God have to exist as if you had seen him. That's why Jesus said,
"Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God."
let us therefore purify our hearts, as Jeremiah said to Jerusalem.
O Jerusalem, wash thine heart from wickedness, that thou mayest be saved.
Let's examine the following argument. All life needs the sun to live. The sun cannot have existed forever because it would simply have burned up. That means life had a beginning. The next question would then be, was life designed or did it come into existence by accident? 1. We define an object as designed by its scale of complexity. 2. A clock is so complex that we define it as designed. 3. Life is more complex than a clock. Therefore, it follows logically that life is designed. The more you study this argument, you will find there is no way around it. Let's look at the complexity in even the smallest cell of bacteria. Although the tiniest bacterial cells are incredibly small, each is in effect a veritable miniaturized factory containing thousands of exquisitely designed pieces of intricate molecular machinery, made up of 100 billion atoms, far more complicated than any machine built by man, and absolutely without parallel in the non-living world.
Helical strands that are intertwined and wind around each other on the outside of the molecule. This is the material that stores all of our genetic information. In higher life forms, this will be the equivalent of something like a gigabyte of information stored in the molecules that form the individual chromosomes, all packed within the nucleus, which is a tiny fraction of the entire cell size. So what does DNA do? Well, the information in DNA ends up providing the information for sequencing the amino acids to make proteins. We have information in a one-dimensional form that provides the information for a three-dimensional form.
I'm finally just beginning to grasp the complexity of the cell. Are there systems within the cell that go well beyond Darwinian evolution? Some type of cellular technology that drives adaptation, replication, quality control, and repair? What if these new mechanisms have massive design implications? Well, I say, so be it.
The fact that we and nature exists is a direct proof of a creator and a designer. Paul said therefore in Romans that we are without excuse. Why? Because the only way around this argument is to willingly ignore it.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse.
Think upon all those with high educations that looks upon themselves as wise and says to themselves and others, there is no God.